Before we do anything, I just have to ask you.
Yes.
At the beginning of this podcast.
Oh, I thought you were asking something else.
No. Did you love it?
So you are asking me what I think you're asking me.
Yeah.
Gladiator.
Yeah. Did you love it?
Spears and Steinberg. You know what the it is? Aries and Andy. Chew and the jerk. You know it's time to get this work. The real raw, gutter, uncut, cold. No political corrections. Always sleep. Being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes. Cry, we lit. There's levels to this. Before you was on your mama. Aries Spears don't give a fuck. We talk about race a lot, racism. Much love to my loyal bag holders, rollers, loaders. We got them in the folders. The whole world on our shoulders. Spears and Steinberg. Yeah.
I definitely liked it better than the second one.
But you didn't love it. I thought you would love it. I thought you would love it, honestly. I've been trying not to talk to you. I avoided, I texted you earlier today to see if we were still on, because I didn't want to talk to you, because I knew if we talked, I'd want to ask that question, and I wanted your actual vision. I wanted to see your face when you said it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more.
You know, it reminded me so much of Braveheart. Only in the sense of, that look, that feel,
a period piece.
That period. And Braveheart to me is such a more well-rounded, from a story standpoint, a scenery standpoint, an emotional standpoint. It's just so much the more superior movie.
Really?
Yeah, but
I have completely different genres, so I don't feel that way.
No, they are, but again, the period, the clothing. Just that feel of the battle, the words.
Something that's not connected to you. It's a time far past.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand that. I just thought you would see it and go, damn, I can't believe I didn't see this. I can't believe that I waited this long to see it.
I don't want to say it was worth the wait, because that to me kind of diminishes the movie, but I'm not living in a space of regret. Like, what the was I thinking? Okay.
I think you should be living in that regret, though. I think you should. You should be. What the was I thinking? How did I not see this?
Listen, and for some people that wrote in and said, this is the ultimate criteria of man food, so how could you not? And that's where I get that, but it's a, when I think man food, to put it in that context, I'm talking about Americana, even though we know that most food that's considered American isn't American. But I'm talking barbecue, hot dogs, cheeseburgers, fried chicken. This was man food, but in another country.
Yeah, in another time.
Time.
Yeah, man food to you is, I don't want to, I'm not trying to make it oversimplify it, but you like gangster related things, whether it's American,
whether either gangster or straight action,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you didn't. Now, I don't want to. I want to go. I'm sure you took notes.
This was French man food. If I was into French food or knew anything about French cuisine.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You're in a different country, and you're ordering at their. It's one of their great restaurants. But you don't really know the menu, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can live with that. But I'm glad that you saw it. I want to go off your notes because I've seen this movie 20 times, so I'll go with whatever you want to start with on this. But
for the record, and I will just for the record, I do think it's better than Gladiator 2.
Oh well, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
Gladiator 2 was trying to fit the puzzle pieces around what had already been there. And like I said, if you when I saw Gladiator 2, I gave it credit for trying to make it fit. And they did an all right job of trying to make it fit. But when you see like the time, okay, I'm gonna jump out ahead because you brought up Gladiator too.
Well, before you do that, let me just say this.
Okay, go ahead.
So here's how I start the moment. And for the record, I'm on week 2 of this Ozempic.
Okay.
And I've gone officially 3 days without a single drop of alcohol and not a single puff of a cigarette. So, and I've been, my whole diet has been nothing but good for 3 days. So I grab my salmon and my string beans. I go upstairs. I sit in the bed. I hit play. Opening scene, Gladiator. Some sort of field of battle is about to pop off. And in rides a headless horseman who comes in on a horse, his head's gone, and then in comes to frame another dude who is carrying the head by the hair of this headless horseman as I get ready to eat my dinner. So already, I'm like, oh, wow.
It wasn't as gory as that scene could have been.
No, but I wasn't expecting that
At the very beginning. Yeah, at the very beginning.
Very jump. But go ahead. Say
and then
what
I
you
like
were
what
gonna
he
say.
yells. He yells something that you can't understand, like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the beginning. That is the beginning.
I mean, not even 5 minutes.
I wanted to give you warnings on some of this, but as far as the gore goes, it's bloody, but it's not very gory, if that makes sense, right?
Right, but there's a couple moments where I just went, damn.
Okay. Is there a damn... What's the worst moment in the movie for you?
I think it was when they had the Colosseum fight with the chariots.
Yeah.
And whatever the things are, the spokes
Yeah.
that are sticking out of the wheel. And I mean, they just torso this whole in half.
It's a great scene, but again, it's gory, but it isn't that gory. I mean, it's bloody, but you don't see it. They don't like focus on it and have her, like a lot of movies would just have her laying on the ground and you'd see half the body cut in half and jiggling and stuff. They just kind of go to the next scene.
I would not be able to be eating a burger and French fries with ketchup.
I might have told you that you might not want to be eating when you watched it. That would have been a good thing to say. I thought one of the scenes that they don't show, it's the first time that they're in the Coliseum and they're about ready to rush out, and the dude just whips up that chain, that ball and chain thing, and as soon as that first guy walks out,
He just catches the face,
and you don't see it's not very gory, but you feel it. You feel that.
Yeah. Well, what were you gonna say?
What I wanted to say, going back to this, because you said Gladiator 2, the way that they used the lions and the way that it felt like that could be for real.
The tigers?
Yeah, the tigers versus the way that they do it in Gladiator 2. That's to me what really sets the two movies completely, like fantasy versus like, oh, this shit could be real. Any that to you? Did that stand out to you in this at all or not?
Well, I just want to make sure those were real tigers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were. I think those are two different films. I don't.
Yeah. Two different edits.
Edits. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because listen, and I said, even when we read the email from the person talking about in Gladiator 2 with the monkeys. My comment was, well, what did you think? They were going to get real monkeys to do that? So we already know that anytime there's a sequel, especially one of that magnitude, Ridley Scott, Denzel Washington, you got to top yourself.
Yeah.
And in the world of topping yourself, here comes CGI.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like there was more authenticity to this one in that sense.
Yeah. And that was just kind of the thing. So those are some of the small things. It's not really a small thing because it's a big scene when they do it. But those things made me stay in Gladiator, and those are the things that made me laugh a little bit about Gladiator too. But I'm glad that you saw it. What's your notes though? I want to go off your notes because I have notes if you don't, but I like your notes because
I don't have a whole lot, but one of which again because it happened within the first 5 minutes and because. It was to me reminiscent of Braveheart. And I just thought, like, dude, I can't think of a more unpleasant way to die in battle than the way those guys fought at that time. I mean, stabbed in the throat with a sword or to have your whole head cut off. Because believe you me, and listen, this is another period piece, but only with guns. Like when you look at the movie The Patriot, or any of those times, Glory, where it was like they had the rifle with the blade at the muzzle, and it was that thing with the reload takes a day because you got to pull out the stick and put it in the powder, push it down. And when you see, you just know the first guys on the front of that line, there's going to be casualties everywhere, but you increase your chances when you lead the march.
Right.
And I'm going, I know me, man. I would sneak all the way to the back and then from there run off into the woods.
Well, what I think about that though too is when you talk about those battles, like, if you get hit with the sword, right, and it cuts part of your leg off or something, you're just laying there. You can't do it. It's like now you get blown up. If you're lucky, you get blown up. And I hate to say it, I'm not trying to minimize war. I'm just saying, I think the fortunate people are the ones that pass immediately. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? How I'm saying?
When you say that, you're talking about war as in today.
Today, like if you get blown up, you're done.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. But that's what I'm saying. Those that are fortunate enough, and it sounds, I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm just saying that if I had a choice, I guess this is the way to say it, to go into battle and to survive laying on the ground for hours and maybe not even surviving and having someone just come over you after you laid there for 2 hours through a battle and someone sees that you're still alive, maybe they kill you or maybe they just walk away and leave you there to die on your own, eaten by an animal or whatever at that time. I'd rather go out a little quicker is what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to suffer all that time and then cruelly be left there, and then maybe that's an animal just comes over and just starts eating your leg. You know what I mean?
This is why I have a hard time watching certain movies, like Saving Private Ryan. I've never seen that movie from A to Z, but all you needed to show me was the clip of the dude laying on the beach with his intestines out.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, listen, if we go back to that time, I mean, like now today, we could look at movies and tell, wow, that's what happens in a fight. But if you go back to that time when there was no footage, unless you heard a story, you have no idea what you're getting into. Yes, there's a possibility of death, but at what gruesome level? And I just wonder that if people back then had the footage and the means to look at another soldier with their intestines hanging out, you still sign up for that?
Or does the fact that we know it now and see it, does it make us less, I don't want to use the word anxious because anxious isn't the right word, but does it make us a little bit more standoffish of actually going to a war? Do we want to do?
I would absolutely think it would.
Yeah, we would search for every other possibility besides going into a war because of that.
You have to be a freakishly brave person, and I put that word freakishly in there because I don't even know it ain't war and death and guts and blood and spillage, but I have a hard time going. I don't understand how people who get hard over going to the gym, like you grunt, you sweat, you're in pain, you're sore, and I go, but there's that live for that. And I go, there are people out there that probably know this. They know this. They've seen these movies. And if they had to sign up tomorrow, they'd be hard. You are a freakishly brave moron.
I don't understand. I don't understand that idea. I don't think it's about the death. I think it's about the other part.
The patriotism?
Yeah, I think it would be that part.
Man, listen, I'm a proud American. I love my country. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. But I'm not that patriotic, brother. True patriotism is being able to exercise the rights that the brave ones gave their lives so that we could, which is to go no.
Yeah, well, and also to be able to hold those people that gave you that right and ability to hold them in high regard.
Yes, I will honor you. I will take pictures at your statue.
Yeah.
But don't put no rifle in my hands.
Well, I think we know where you would serve best.
On the couch at home watching TV.
Watch this video. Tell if anybody is like attacking this area. Okay.
Right.
All right. What about, okay, so the first scene, after the battle, they outflank him. They go behind. They win the battle, and then Joaquin Rivers comes in and Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, I'm up with the name. My mom's calling me. That's probably the problem right there.
Probably want to ask you. You on the phone with that nigga?
Maybe. So he gets around. They win the battle, and then you see.
What did you think about his performance, by the way?
First of all, I think everybody's performance is outstanding.
Yeah.
I can't. I've tried to figure out where the bad performance is in this movie, and that's one of the things I love about this movie. It's every performance. No one has everybody's part is, I think, important in this movie. Everybody that has a decent film time part is important. But even in the crowd scenes, usually you see someone look at the camera or something. I mean, it's even in the crowd scenes, they're pretty well done. But everybody's part in this, I think, is really, really well done. And Joaquin, I thought, did a great job. But and he plays it psycho enough, but not psycho enough. Like when I mean, he plays like a psycho, but not a psycho. He plays like someone that's a narcissist, but not a narcissist. But he plays like he might be suffering from something. But is he suffering from something? I mean, it was just on the edge on every emotion that you felt about him. The scene where he, I'm jumping way far ahead, but the scene where he basically tells his sister that you're going to tell me everything, or your son, you'll be bathing in your son's blood. Basically, it was the gist of it.
Yeah.
And when that, I jumped so far ahead, I don't want to jump that far ahead. Let me go back.
No, trust me, it's fine because again, dude, I'm telling you, I only have about 5 notes, maybe.
Okay, but the scene where, what's his name?
Joaquin Phoenix?
No.
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe. Well, Russell Crowe, that first scene that where he has to take out the guys that are sent to execute him because Joaquin, kills his dad. They take him out, and he says, "Give me a soldier's death," and then he takes out all 6 of them, 8 of those guys.
Yeah,
that scene didn't do anything for you. That didn't get you.
No, listen. As far as the satisfying the man food itch in terms of the violence and the action, it was great.
When he said,
even some of that heated dialogue between, like you said, Joaquin and the sister. Yeah. Russell and Joaquin, all of that was great.
But when he says to that soldier, when he goes to pull his sword out of the sheath, and he goes, "Sometimes the frost makes the sword stick," and then just kills that. I don't know why, but that I always look forward when I put that. That's one of the first scenes I want to see. I'm waiting for that scene. Just the way he says it. I don't know what it is, but there is a scene when he grabs the sword from the one dude and hits him with it, but doesn't cut his hands. That part is a little weird to me, but he gets the little cut. He gets the cut on his shoulder. Then he becomes. Then they find, and then when he takes off to go save his wife and kids. Come on, man! When you saw those feet, when that camera shot lifts up and you see the feet of his wife and his son, that didn't get you. Come on, man! Did we watch the same movie?
Son, I'm telling you, it's great, but that period, it just there's a disconnect for me somewhere,
dude. When I saw the shot, and you see it on fire, they're going to be dead. But when he falls, I think you're going to see them like dead, and then it just pans up, and they just give you the feet, man.
Listen, for the record, I to be honest, I knew this because when we saw the second one, they showed the ending death scene of Russell Crowe, so I knew he obviously didn't make it, or he would have obviously been in Gladiator 2.
Right.
But after seeing his performance and seeing him and the role that he played, I would have preferred he lived. That was a little disappointing for me.
I wish they would have had some flashbacks or something that they could have put him in because but he doesn't look the same anymore. Exactly.
So I was going to say, even if you wanted to put him in 2, I mean, he ain't the Gladiator anymore. He's the refrigerator.
Well, he had to lose weight for that too. I understand. I'm not
for sure. Gladiator 1.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was always up and down in his weight. He gets big. He's a big dude. He eats. I thought that scene was great, and then all of a sudden he gets picked up, he becomes a gladiator. Now, I guess I want to ask you these questions because you do quote sometimes from Gladiator, and I know you've never seen it, but now that you know where the quotes come for, and that "Are you not entertained?" quote.
That from the Jay-Z album.
Yeah. Did that get you at all?
I knew it was coming because I knew where it came from.
Yeah.
But I had never seen the scene. So when he does what he does in the Coliseum and then throws the sword up towards the powers that be, and then he says, "Are you not entertained?" I thought that was awesome.
Is that the highlight then? Is that the highlight to this for you?
No, I loved all of the arena fights.
Okay.
The Coliseum fights. And like I said, I love the really intense dialogue between some of the main characters. This is why, I hold my that joke in high regard is because that to me, I love the pompousness of that time. Basically, and when I was trying to structure a joke around being able to do that voice and those kind of characters, I said to myself, one of my opening parts was, what a glorious time to be a man. You ate, you drank all day, you were merry. And when it came to sex with women, no meant yes. And it's just that pompous, you look at those guys in the Coliseum and it's like they're sitting in these thrones and they've got their, I don't know what you would call a drinking cup back then. I know there's a specific name for it.
There was chalice. There's
yes.
Okay.
A chalice, and you got your wine, and you got a platter of peaches, and the absurdity of just, yes, bring me another glass of wine while I eat my peach as this slave in Gladiators killed to the death, and just you're excited not because you're watching a football game, a basketball game, but because you get to watch someone be decapitated. You get to watch someone's guts spill all over the sand, and that's entertainment for you. And one of my notes was, what does that say about you as a human being when that type of barbaric activity, that's what you're cheering for with kids in the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah. But what I thought was interesting too, and they talk about that Rome, Rome is what they keep saying it. Rome is the spectacle of Rome is that the games, keeping people watching, people interested, not in what you're doing, but in what you're giving them, this entertainment. But what I really thought was interesting is I don't know the guy's name, but the head gladiator. What's his name? It's Oliver Reed is his real name.
The big white dude,
Plaxico or something like that.
Right.
When he says to them to get them excited, he goes, "As you plunge the sword into another man."
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, and
but he wasn't the head gladiator. He was like, he kind of played the part that Denzel played.
Yes, but in two. Yeah. He was a gladiator. Now he became the champion. He's the guy who was in charge of it. He when he says you plunge the sword and
to the flesh,
and they will love you for it. They will cheer your name, and then yeah. But we do it in another way. We don't plunge swords into people, but we hit people. We knock them out. We take them down. I mean, it is different.
Get to go home. But they get to go home.
Yeah, it is different. But I'm just saying, vastly different. We're not killing someone. But
the fact that you could, as a spectator, you're turned on by that. That excites you. And then you you go home and with your kid.
Yeah, as he's cheering.
You could almost put that in the same vein as, the Jackie Robinson era when, fathers are screaming, "Nigga, go home."
Yeah.
And the kid is next to him.
Yeah. It's just who you are.
So what's the through line here? If they're doing that in the Roman Colosseum, barbaric responding to barbarity, and which in return they're acting barbaric, which they're teaching their kids to be barbaric. And that runs through all the way to the Jackie Robinson era. You know what the through line is here?
What?
White people are barbaric.
Well, there's black people in this too. But I know what you're saying because I'm going to go different. I'm going to go harder than you just did. A lynching and a picnic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
here's what I would like to know, and I know Mark is not with us because we're not together. You know, and I'm even surprised you didn't jump on this, but were there black people that participated at such high levels of barbarity culturally, where it's like, because you say, well, there were some black people in there, yes, but we know the mass majority, 95% of them were white. So were there, throughout times of history, were there large amounts of black people that did that same shit?
Through all societies, there's been
I'd like to know before. Now, I know you're saying yes.
We'll look it up when Mark's with us next time. How's that? Because I don't have a way to look it up because you're on my computer right now. But yes, barbarism has happened throughout all society from the beginning of time. And the people who are in charge, that's why there's always been kings. Because kings before free societies, because kings ruled. They ruled, and the people were peasants, and the lower level didn't matter. And when we were in societies that were all black, the kings mattered, the peasants didn't. And this has always been how society had ran. Not society. This is how the kingdoms were run. We can go back to it, but I'm not going to just say things to you and not have it, because I like having Mark here. Unfortunately, guys, as Aries just pointed out, we had a week off. We were trying to get some stuff in last week, and we couldn't do it because we were in where were we? We were in Miami, and we had extra shows, and there was no time to get. We were trying to get an extra show done so we wouldn't do it this way. But this is technology, and this is the best we can do. But we'll have Mark back here next week. But let's put a pin in that. Let's put that on.
You know, a movie that my manager has always been trying to get me to watch that's on my to-do list and eventually is The King of Scotland.
Yeah.
With Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know a whole lot about that movie, but kind of in the same vein, I think, of what we're talking about, was like, you know, these guys are kings, they're dictators.
Yeah.
You know, and they rule by the hand of violence. So I've never seen it. I have yet to see it. But it feels like, without knowing so, he kind of falls in this.
I haven't seen that either. I would like to see it. Maybe that's one of the ones, and one of the ones we should watch and put that on for a later date, because that would be a great one. Something I haven't seen and would like to. And then we can tie that in with Mark, and we can get all that done. So let's put that on the list to do.
Something I noticed in my last two notes. One was like, you know, to be so macho, men then wore a lot of wigs, gowns, and bed sheets.
Well, they didn't have guys that made pants. They didn't have tailors making suits for them in today's standard. So they wore what they wore. That's how they wore it, man.
Yeah, you know, of course, you know, if I were born into that era, that time, I wouldn't know anything else but that. So that to me would be normal. But given that I haven't, looking back on that, I just go, Jesus, I would have hated that.
Dude, I could see you in like some flowing, straight up flowing all over, a big cape kind of thing flowing, and then some Timbs down at the bottom.
Yeah, and then call me fairy godmother.
Some straight up Timbs though, right at the bottom.
You wouldn't even be able to see them. Them would be draped so long, sheets.
I did love the scene though. You know, I just got to say this about the acting that you brought up. The kid in the movie.
Yeah.
When he's fighting, and you hear the fight, and then he goes and he's fighting, you know, Joaquin, and then he says, and he says, the savior of Rome, and he goes, and he didn't overact it, and then Joaquin goes, who said that? And then you see him whisper in his ear. Dude, I really like this movie. The subtleties of this movie are so different than Braveheart. I think that's one of the reasons I like it.
Dude, I'm telling you, as an actor, you talk about things that can challenge you. I would love to take on that challenge because I believe I could kill it. That pompous, arrogant, narcissistic, kind of fancy, elegant, cruel way that they spoke and moved, I feel like I could do that in my sleep. With certain lines, certain words, cadences, I could do that in my sleep.
Knowing you and seeing some of the other work that you've done, I think that you would kill it. I don't know how far. I don't know. You would get extra scenes, extra takes, because I'm sure sometimes you'd go over the top. because you would have to.
But how is there such thing as over the top?
I mean, that's
you're in a coliseum watching a guy be decapitated.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes the director would go, okay, let's do another scene, and you would keep going. I think you would keep going until it was like out. It was out there. I
There's something very poetic, really poetic in the way that this is what I'm saying. It ain't just the action and the gore and the Coliseum fights. That moment where Joaquin is talking to his sister and they're just face to face, and there's such drama and poetry in the way that those moments are played out. I would live for that.
Yeah. By the way, since you brought up since we said that about the sister again, she held up pretty good though to get to that next movie. How many years later?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Listen, this is not minimizing her ability as an actress. She's great. I'm just saying, Russell Crowe couldn't have been in the movie today. She was fine in the movie.
White women age better when you use the blood of camel's milk and smear it across your brassiere and your face and your jaw. It tightens the skins and give you years beyond your wisdom.
But when you said about the acting, one of the things that I did feel was great is when Joaquin is talking to Russell Crowe when he says they're going to fight, and Russell Crowe's all chained up, and that scene where he just sticks the knife in him really quick. That guy
tells the guy to cover the wound.
And I wasn't ready. Like he was going to fight him. I thought he's really going to fight him, and then but then he said, "You've always been scared." And he called him out, and then he just takes that knife and that was quick. That surprised me. I didn't know that was going to happen. But then their ability to still fight, and Russell Crowe's dying while he's fighting,
and kicks his ass anyway.
But that's I mean, that was great acting. I think that was great acting because the hardest thing to do is to die on screen, right? Is that what they say? It's one.
I told you, man. My CSI Miami, baby.
But to do a scene when you're dying and still have to be able to fight and live, and then I thought that's one of the reasons I love this movie so much. I thought it was so well done.
Yeah,
so really well done.
I got to give my man a shout out, and it's almost like a rest in peace to his situation. But I don't know if you saw it, but Djimon Hounsou was on a couple podcasts, and he was talking about how he's basically broke because he doesn't get hired a lot. And I'm just going, and you and I have touched upon this many a times. This is the insanity and the cruelty of show business, where I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. Because how does a guy like Djimon Hounsou, who first debuted, his cinematic debut was in Amistad, alongside, Matthew McConaughey, Morgan Freeman, Jerry was Tommy Lee Jones, and then you're also in Shazam, and then you're also in this, and it's like, who's not wanting to hire this guy?
And what's the reasoning that he thinks he's not getting hired?
I think to some degree he alluded to, the opportunities just not being there for black actors as much. But you go, well, you say that, but then Aldous Hodge is working his ass off. Idris Elba's working his ass off. Michael B. Jordan is working his ass off. And you might be able to come up with, 2 or 3 other names of black actors who are working their asses off. So why not you? And you can't, I wouldn't attribute it to, well, he's phenomenal.
Is it his look? Is it his dominant size? Does he, you know what I mean? He doesn't look small. Is he?
No, he doesn't, but listen, he does look very, and I know I probably would catch flack for saying this because somebody might go, well, what do Africans look? He looks very African, but and not that should be a thing,
right?
But this is Hollywood, so sometimes their thing is their thing, which us up.
Well, I'm just saying he's very dominant looking. Like you can't cast him. I'm not saying you can't, but it would be hard to. I don't see him cast as like the regular average guy. He's such a like a big force. His voice, his look, his stature. Does that make it more difficult?
Listen, that feels like one of those things where it's like it would be very interesting to have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
To go deeper in depth as to why that is. Because, listen, it all is at the end of the day. For whatever reason they may not want to hire him, they'll hire somebody on their side that is kind of the same representation as him.
Yeah, but his part in this movie was fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know everything he's been in, but everything I've seen him in,
it's great.
It's been great.
Hits.
He's a solid actor.
Okay, so this is the question, but this is what you said. Hollywood. There's a lot. This is the problem, and I'm not trying. I'm not taking anything away from him. Not taking anything away from you or from myself. There's someone else that fits all these footprints. There's someone else that fits all the footprints. They don't need us.
Well, they don't have to have us. They don't. What you're saying is true, but there's something off about it because there's always somebody that is the best person for the job, but because this is Hollywood, it goes back to Patrice's saying they would rather have somebody less talented that's totally somebody you can work with than somebody who's supremely talented that's a little bit of an asshole.
That's true.
So would they rather have the absolute best? Of course. But they ain't losing sleep over it because, they'll find somebody else to fill those shoes.
Well, and then it goes to this other part, and nothing against anyone else in this business, but like I think I'm talented enough to headline. I do, but I'm not because I don't sell tickets. You're talented. You headline. You sell tickets. Let's put that into a movie format. I can get this guy. I can get this guy. I can get this guy. But only these amount of people sell tickets. Everybody else afterwards is just a plug and play, aren't we?
Yeah, but also everybody's a plug and play because they haven't gotten the opportunity to be put on in a thing that would allow them to shine in such a way where now they can sell tickets.
Yeah, you're right. And that goes back, and listen, going back to the scene in The Godfather, I'm not going to give them that part. They didn't want to give him the part, which is apparently based loosely on Frank Sinatra. I'm not going to give him that part because that's going to be a great part for him. It's going to make him a big, big star. And I don't want him to be a big star because he's someone else's girl. This business isn't about, I would love to say this business is about talent, but we know it's not just about talent. Talent is in there, but talent is an ingredient, it's not the sole source.
Listen, man, like I said, this director that I just met with, Elliot Lester, we'll see where it goes, but again, this movie, The Thicket, that he did with Peter Dinklage and Jennifer Lewis and Andrew Schultz is in it. And he was like, Andrew kept telling me, look, man, I'm not an actor. I'm not, he was feeling real insecure. But this director is in Hollywood, he's not up there with like Ridley Scott or, some of the true A-list directors, Scorsese, but he's very well respected, and they say he's great at what he does. So he's basically telling me, I told Andrew, and he's from the UK, don't worry, I'm going to get the best out of you. I'm one of the best directors. Trust me, I'm going to pull out of you what you don't even know you have. And listen, the dude, and here's where I'm at. Like when I saw Robert De Niro on this round table, and he's there with, Will Smith and Tom Hanks and Benicio del Toro. And he basically said, no matter how successful you become or how bad things get, keep it here. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Always stay right here in the middle. So I'm at this point where I'm going, I'm trying to follow that credo in the middle. But as I'm at this director's house and I'm hearing him say things like, so the other day I had lunch with Michael Douglas and blah, 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 blah. Then we were getting ready to do this film with Keanu Reeves, blah, 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 blah. This one movie I did, and I know this to be true because I looked it up on IMDb, and Brad Pitt produced it, his company. And Brad said, we're going to do it this way. We're going to shoot it like this. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. It's going to make this much money. And everything Brad said came true. And I'm in there, I'm listening, And I'm trying to keep it like this. But I'm hearing names. I'm hearing the kind of shit that you know, if it all comes together, this could be it. This could be the game changer. But I've been in these situations where I get high only to be disappointed. I've been low only to stay low. So to be where I'm like, oh God, this feels good. I'm hearing what I like. This is the thing where when I leave this guy's house, I'm gonna get in my car and I'm gonna drive the hour back to my house, talking to myself in the car. In my mind, my wheels are spinning, and this is gonna be. But gotta keep it here because you just don't know.
You know what
Just don't know.
But you know what I figured out from this conversation that I need?
What's that?
That I need personally. When you said the thing in that British accent, I'm going to pull the best out of you. How did you say that again? Don't worry about it.
You don't have to worry. I'm going to pull the best out of you.
That's what I need. I need a British manager or a British agent. I need someone that when I hear them talk to me, I believe that. That's what I need. That's right. Because for some reason, when you said it with that accent, I swear I went, oh man, like that made me feel like if I had someone say that to me, I'd be there.
Listen, I told the dude what I told you, and it's funny because you know Dr. Dre, when I met with Dre and Alex Thomas came in, and you know the meeting that lasted an hour and 20 minutes, Alex was moaning about Hollywood and this and that, and Dre was so turned off by that and was like, hey man, don't bring that negativity in here. What Hollywood ain't gave you. You here to figure out what you can give yourself. And then I'm sitting there with this director, and then so many ways I'm we're having and listen, the whole thing was he already pitched me the role that he wants me to do, which is again kind of a lead role. But he wanted more or less to have a candid conversation with me to get to know me. So in getting to know me, I'm telling you my truth. I'm telling you my life. And as I'm saying certain things, he's like, and on your road schedule, where are you next? I said, well, we're putting together a European tour, the UK, Switzerland. He goes, you ever been to Germany? I said, never, but that's one of the places we talking about going. Been to Belgium, Brussels. And he stops, he goes, Jesus, I bless you all. You're doing what you love, and you've been doing that and that only for 35 years. And you're traveling the world, mate. What do you mean? What do you mean when you say you're depressed? What do you mean when you say you're not getting what you want? Look at your life, man. You're great. You're in great standings. And now you're here talking with me, possibly about to do a film. And it makes you go, yeah, he's right.
Yeah. But that's because we as people focus on what we don't have or what we're not, what we want, not what we have. I want to complain all the time about my situation. Then I always realize that I even told you recently, I go, I don't even understand how I'm here. I don't understand how I'm here. I'm here. I'm on the road with you. Listen, is this what I want? No. I would like some more. But I have to stop every day and go, damn, I never thought I would. I'm grateful for this. If this is where it ends, this is where it ends. Yes, I want more. But how can you not be grateful for this? How can I not be grateful that I have a job that allows me to go back and see my kids, but I get to live in New York? How can I not be grateful for that? How can I not be grateful that I can pay my bills with telling jokes? It took me, I got to tell you, this is kind of funny, and I don't know if you'll appreciate this, because I always used to walk around with a pad, and I still do walk around with a pad sometimes, a writing pad, and I write down, I used to have a pad on me all the time. But for a long time before, I was a server, and I was serving breakfast. And I have to have this apron, and I'd have to have my books and my pens and man. It took me about 6 months on being on the road with you that I wouldn't leave the house to go meet you, to go meet with you, to go get ready, and I'd be checking I'm forgetting something. Like I don't have my apron, I just come with this, just me. We forget how fortunate we are that people go to work, they have to bring a briefcase, they do all. We just show up with thoughts.
Yeah.
Man, I got to be honest. I would love some of the other stuff. I don't know if I would appreciate it as much, or I probably would appreciate this more if I had to do some of the other stuff. This to me, I don't think it gets much. I should be much more appreciative of this than I am, and I'm mad at myself sometimes for not being more appreciative of it.
Well, to kind of go back to what I've lost my train of thought, but go back to what I was really getting at was, I said to him, as again, I've said to you, I want to be Michael Jordan. I want to be celebrated at that level, looked at that level, but I'm starting to realize I'm more like Dennis Rodman. So I go, and I said to him, I was like, I just need, it only takes one. I just need somebody to go, listen, I'm a Phil Jackson this. I just need a dude who can get me 18 boards a game and play superior defense. I don't need a guy that can score 45 and dominate the league and be the face of the franchise. Kevin Hart is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
As much as I'd like that spot, I think I'm starting to turn more into Dennis Rodman. So whether it's Wes Miller or this dude, it just takes one. So whoever that is, whenever that is, and maybe Dennis Rodman is not a bad place to be.
I think Dennis Rodman's pretty happy being Dennis Rodman. He has been. I don't know if he still is. He has been. The talent, raw talent, man.
Well, and the things that are superficial, but I won't even mention that because it's superficial. But because at this point, how many more women can you have? How much more pussy can you run through? How much harder can you party? It's like I'm also at that point where it's just like, man, give me family and stability. Because the days of ripping and running through Vegas are kind of over for me.
Yeah, I'm 10 years older than you, so I'm not disagreeing with you at all. It's a realization that we all come to.
Yeah.
But even when you come to that realization, there's times and moments you're out and you go like, damn, really? Like, it would be nice, but but we know the truth. That's a moment. There's a difference. There's a difference. But that's it. I know we only have, I have to give out dates, and I know we're not that far, but I was going to ask you, did you see the video with Cat Williams happened in Phoenix? My home, my
Is this
area.
the one where he's with the Mexican heckler?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's old though.
It was old? I thought
that's an old video.
I thought it was I thought it was newer. No?
No.
Well, they've just been putting it all over the internet lately.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Well, now that your boy is Captain Chaos is back in the White House, anything pertaining to any kind of disorder, racially, whatever kind of way, is going to make the news. I know we got like 13 minutes left. I don't know if it's best to talk a little bit about the French Connection or just maybe, because I did want to mention one thing with Trump.
yeah, go ahead.
This is why I'm telling people, and it not that because of this, I'm going, hey, I'm Team Trump, or you're going to see me with a MAGA hat. But this is the sticky thing about Trump. It's like there's people on TikTok, of course, you couldn't be more divided. There's so many people that go, fuck him, he's an asshole, fuck him, fuck him, fuck him. And then there are other people going, the man's only been in office for this many days and he's already done X, Y, and Z. He's doing the things that I voted for him to do. And I read a great quote. I don't know who came up with it, but somebody said, people say that Trump is acting out of control. It's not that he's acting out of control. He's just not within their control.
Right.
And I got to say this. The whole thing that he just signed into legislation about the transgenders not being able to compete in women's sports. Yo, I agree. And I'm not mad at him for that. Matter of fact, let me stop pussyfooting. Thank you. Because I disagreed with that wholeheartedly. I got 2 daughters. I think it's, and if I had a MAGA hat, I tip it to him. Bravo, sir.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to disagree with you. I feel that was probably the right thing to do at this moment. I agree with it. And I'm not going to say probably. I'm on the side of it. But let's be honest. There are some people that are very hurt by this. And here's
of course.
But here's my thing that I tried to say. I said this with Mark the other day about what a liberal and what a conservative is. And I guess basically I could make it even shorter when I said the liberal's in the bus and he's pushing on the gas, and the conservative is trying to hit the brake because it's going too fast. Sometimes, in the need to make everybody feel good, be happy, enrich us, make it a kumbaya society. Yeah, you pushing on the gas. Let's get there. Hey, people want to be guys want to be girls. Let's make it happen. Okay, everything. It's all the same. No, sometimes you got to hit the brake a little bit. Sometimes there's a happy medium. I don't like that what I don't like about it is, and I agree with it, but what I don't like about it is it displaces a bunch of people, and it feels vindictive to them. And it shouldn't have to be. But the problem is we went too far, too fast, without trying to figure out anything. I don't listen to the women that had to be in a dressing room, into a locker room. That was their space. There is a men's locker room and a women's locker room, and it's divided by, I'm going to be honest, it's not divided by emotional ideas. It's divided by,
which can only come together at night in the bed
when it's wanted.
Yes.
And here we go, and you just say, okay, well, this person feels that they're in the wrong body, but we're going to put them in this room with women, and we don't know what those women have been through. We don't know if they had experienced any kind of sexual assault, any problems in their life, or just uncomfortability with a man, or they're uncomfortable with their own body as well. And now we have a man in there. I know you feel like a woman. If that's what you feel like, you feel that. But the man part of your body is in the room. It's not a female penis. It's a penis. So to your point, as you said, I just feel it seems like the media, and going back to the media, it's an all or nothing. Well, he did this, so now he did it to stop what was happening. And listen, this is some of the things, like you said, that people who voted for him for this reason. And again, I go back to like when someone sent an email in, and I don't like to read the emails, but they send it to both of us sometimes, and sometimes I check them out. I usually don't, because I like to get it from you firsthand on the podcast. But it's not a dude that I like. I don't necessarily like Trump. I had an Uber driver say this to me, that they're not a fan of Trump. They're a fan of Trumpism, which is a movement to get to slow this down and to get some clarity on some of the things that we're doing and to try to put some sanity back into our government. I think that's fair.
Yeah. And there's not a whole lot that I will agree with him on. But this one particular issue, I agree 1,000%.
Well, do you agree on some of the things that they're trying to get out of government, the spending that's been on? I don't know if you saw some of the things that they spent money on. I've seen so many people posting videos of like all the things. And since I haven't looked him up, I'm not going to say that he's knocked these things out and these things were actually money being spent on him. But we know how much fat is in the government, and they just spend money because it's not their money. This is the problem with our government right now. We can just print more money. It's our money, though. And this is what people don't understand. It comes out of your taxes. So we can't have that. Just giving $100,000 or a couple million here and there for. I saw one was a study on how lizards get blown off trees by people with the blowers, the leaf blowers. I mean, are they really spending studies millions of dollars to see how what happens when wind comes? What most lizards do?
What's that?
Move out the way.
Well, maybe we should have had one of those in Mark's room.
You would have liked it last week. But I'm just saying, yeah, I understand. But this is the hard part where people think that I am this Trump fan. I understand the idea of what is happening, but I don't like how it displaces or hurt or wounds people at the same time. I really don't. That's not my area. That's not the area that I'm not here to hope that people feel pain from this. But there is going to be some There's changes that are coming, but they were needed. They were needed. Damn. And the one that you brought up, it seems to most people that one was an obvious one, but it doesn't seem obvious to the people that were in charge in this last group of people that were running the country.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I feel it. I just don't like how it displaces certain people, though, in a way that almost vilifies them, and that's not the goal. You want some dates?
Yeah, why not?
We're right there, right?
Yeah. We're 56 minutes.
Yeah, we're there. Let me give out these dates. You got anything else?
No, that's it. Oh, I just want to remind people, again, next week we'll be in Salt Lake City, Utah. The great Kyla Lacey, the Queen, will be back for what will be her third appearance on the pod. And we are going to be discussing a very important, impactful documentary that is currently on Netflix called The Two Killings of Sam Cooke. I'm passionate about this one. It's going to be heavy a little bit in terms of race. And to the white people that listen to the podcast, please brace yourselves because you're going to get angry Aries. I know that I love you. I know it's not all of y'all, but in the heat of my passion, I'm going to be looking at all of y'all. And if you really want to understand where this is coming from, I urge you, white folks, look at The Two Killings of Sam Cooke so that when I hit you with what I'm going to hit you with, you understand where it's coming from.
I'm going to wear a sombrero that day.
Other than that, that's it. Oh, and if you want to email into the podcast, Aries Spears 45 at Hotmail.
All right, guys. Next week is Aries talking about. It's funny that this heated. I'm feeling like this is a very dangerous podcast because we're going to be doing this in Salt Lake City, Utah.
I didn't even think about that.
So hopefully, Aries will have some time in the room to relax before he goes out into the whiteness that is Salt Lake City, Utah. I think last time we were there, all the black folks in Utah came out for the week that we were there. It's not the most diverse city.
No, it isn't. That's why I call it white people's Africa.
Yeah.
You know?
So there we go. We're going to be out there February 13th to the 15th. If you haven't got your tickets, get your tickets. It's going to be a quick weekend. We're in, we're out. Please get those tickets. Funny Bone, February 21st to the 22nd, we're going to be at Albany, back on this side of town. Very cold and not enjoying the cold this winter, I got to be honest. February 27th through March 2nd, we're at the famous, world famous, I can actually say it for this one, the world famous DC Improv.
Home of Ben's Chili Bowl.
That's going to be a great weekend. Cold or not, it's going to be a great weekend. March 7th through the 8th, we're going to be at the Virginia Funny Bone and Virginia Beach Funny Bone. And March 13th to the 16th, we're going to be in California, in Ontario, California at the Improv. Always happy to go back there. Then we're off to One Night Stands. That's March 20th to the 22nd, and that is in Michigan, in Waterford Township, Michigan. Listen, man, those tickets, for everybody who's saying that you want to come out and see Aries Spears in Michigan, stop saying you want to come out and see Aries Spears. Go get your tickets. That one should already be sold out. It's only 20th to the 22nd. March 28th to the 29th, we're at the Cincinnati Funny Bone in Liberty Township. That's 2 nights only. Get your tickets. April 4th to the 6th, we're going to be at the Improv in San Jose, California, back in the Bay. April 11th through the 13th, we're going to be at the Funny Bone in Cleveland, Ohio. April 18th to the 20th, Columbus Funny Bone in Ohio. Columbus, Ohio. April 25th to the 26th, the Funny Bone in Syracuse. We haven't been to that one in a while, have we?
It feels like it.
Yeah. And then I'll give out 2 more. May 2nd to the 3rd, we're at Toledo Funny Bone. We're covering the Ohio area. And May 8th through the 10th, we're going to be back in one of Aries' places that he loves, Magoobies.
In Baltimore.
Yeah, we're back out in Magoobies, man. So very excited about these places. Get your tickets. Come out and see us. We're ready to go. Is that a show?
I think that's a show.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit spearsburgpod.com.